Here we are live. Welcome to the old Backpack Show. It is I, your host, Chris Brogan, solo again today. Luckily, I've got people like my biological father, Steve Brogan, here to hang out with me. Hi, Dad. Happy 4th of July weekend. Also to his loving wife, Diane Brogan, who spawned me, I'm told. Hello, my mother. Good to see you both. It's a solo show today, which means that you are going to be invited to join me at any time. That's the way you're going to get in there is cbrogan.net/join us. cbrogan.net/join us is how you're going to get a chance to come and be part of the Backpack Show today. I've got some different stuff to cover today. I've got some information about business. I've got some stuff about travel. I have some news, and I have some bad news. So I will pass this all on. Stick around for the Backpack Show.
Hi everyone, Tim Kitzer from NBA Jam and NFL Blitz, welcoming you to The Backpack Show. Your hosts, Chris Brogan, Kerry Gargone, Boom Shakalaka.
Backpack Show.
Boom Shakalaka indeed. And yes, as I said, you are invited to become part of the Backpack Show. Just get camera ready. It's not that hard. Throw a camera on. And you can come on the show. cbrogan.net/join us. cbrogan.net/join us. cbrogan.me has been retired. I'm Chris Brogan. I've run the Backpack Show in daily and weekly modes ever since the pandemic started, and with a couple different names in the go. If this is your first time joining, it's like Fight Club. You have to fight. And if you've been here all along, I'm always glad to see you. Grateful. Happy to see my good pal Chloe from over in Scotland. And hello to you, Chloe. Hope all is well. I'm going to start out with something that I found out. This is somebody I wasn't super close to or anything like that, but I saw the news and I was really sad to hear it. I'm going to report it. A popular Minecraft YouTuber named Technoblade, age 23, passed away from cancer. So that's unfortunate. He had a very vast following, very popular person, a very friendly channel, like a very positive place to be. And this is a massive person in the Minecraft YouTube space. So if you're a kid by any chance, as a Minecraft type kid, you might check with them because they might already be hearing about this, but they might not have anyone helping them process it. And for the rest of us, just rest in peace to Technoblade. Very unfortunate. I wanted to start with that just because I think a lot of times people won't remember that they may have kids who watch YouTube, and they may have people who are tuned into this, and there's surely not a lot of how to cope with down situations. Hello, Elizabeth. Good to see you. Congratulations on the news you shared with me privately, but that was great. Very interesting stuff I've been seeing out here in business reporting. KPMG, by the way, just came out with a report that says that employees are evidently spending 89 working days a year and sometimes as much as 5 days of personal time on what's called wasted work or shadow work. 89 working days a year. What's going on is that this is the amount of time it takes for people to do things like transfer information from one system to another system, get stuff off of your spreadsheet and into your reporting technology, move it from one place to another. 89 days a year on average are what employees are spending, and up to 5 personal days, which is the one I thought was the grossest. So there's not a lot to be done about it unless you start to use technology that handles for that, accounts for that sort of a thing. And while you all know I have a job now at AppFire, we have an app that does that. It's called Big Picture. But I just found the report crazy because I've been on I don't know if you've been on it too, but I've been on the side of it, that like horrendous busy work, that sort of copy paste work, that get it from this format to this other format. And I thought it was exciting that, I just realized, I better sound 80 times better now. I found it interesting that there's some software that helps out. Now, I'm counting on you people who are here with me live to remind me if you can't hear me, if it sounds like I'm talking out the backside of my head. But I don't know. I think sometimes you put me on and you go and you get your cereal and you wander off. I don't know. Could be something like that. Hello, Michelle. Happy Canada Day. Canada Day is one of those days that's right near a U.S. holiday, so that we all smile at it down here. We all just go, oh, well, that's odd. I should tell you that the most important news of this weekend is that this is one of the busiest travel weekends in the Western Hemisphere. And you should understand that there's some crazy stats going around about how many missed flights, how many opportunities for you to have a problem with your flight or you're driving this time, your gas prices are going to be a slight bit better. But air travel is just nuts. And there's all these new efforts out there to try to keep retiring pilots in the system as they still try to go on and find new pilots. A little weird about the oldie pilots. So Chip Griffin says, hello, Chip. I was just about to note the mic issue. Thank you, but you are always late to my party. All the coffee needs. Yes, I have coffee needs. Reese's Puffs and Captain Crunch. That's actually pretty tasty. You missed a few news reports. I wanted to report another interesting news story that I thought was crazy. Like the tenor and tone of it was crazy. Meta reports that they're going to start turning up the heat. That's their line, quote, turn up the heat on their employees to start sniffing out low performers because of economic downturns and things like that. They're going to look to try to burn some of their employees out of their roles. Turn up the heat. Like, that's crazy. That's like, well, I know there's this economic downturn coming. Let's see if we can get rid of a bunch of employees by making their job harder. It's not the way to go. What the hell's wrong with you, Zuck? All right. Chloe says, not cereal, but I do eat apples and drink tea. At the same time, Chip says, I was about to grab my third double espresso when I noticed that you were live, so I'll have to wait. Hey, listen, we're a beverage enhanced show. At any time, you can go and get your beverage, get it on. Mm-hmm. Today, for me, that is an iced tea with lemon. Except missing the ice. I always forget the ice. I was going to say something. Oh, I was going to say this is a show that if you are camera ready, come join me. cbrogan.net/join us. If you have something you want to talk about, you want to talk about business, you want to talk about Facebook doing what they're doing, this crazy notion of he's telling staff we're going to turn up the heat to weed out underperformers. Zuck also said in the same interview, by the way, you might decide this place isn't for you, and that's okay with me. It's kind of nuts. I just didn't expect that particular kind of tone or tenor. So, good on you, buddy. We're hiring over at AppFire like crazy. We're the opposite. So when he starts bleeding out people by burning them out, maybe we can pick up some of the least crispy ones and have them come work at AppFire. We have 170 something job recs open. So we'll take your cast offs, Senior Zuckerberg. As this is the most busy travel week of the year, or of the summer, I don't know. I should let you know also that, like I said, gasoline prices are going to be lower. That travel times still looking at thousands and thousands of cancellations in the system. A lot of them, no matter what they say at the airport, a lot of them are going to be due to some situations with regards to staffing. However, at least up here in the Northeast, there's a big storm front coming in. So I did have a potential travel person coming on. I thought it would be kind of fun to hit with some questions, but I haven't seen them talk in the comment section, so I don't know if they're here. Remember, this is like Fight Club. If you don't leave a comment, I don't know that you're here. So feel free to leave a comment and say hi and kind of decloak and identify and tell me what's going on. By the way, feel free to ask any questions about anything that's out there in the industry. Ask me any questions about me, my business, things I've been sharing. I put up 2 articles in a row at LinkedIn lately. The one today about the needing systems, good communications, and also paying attention to your leadership as far as ways that you're going to keep your job and feel better about it. I also had a whole conversation. I don't remember what yesterday's post was anymore. Pardon my cough. Elizabeth says, I had 2 cups of coffee and now I'm on my way to walk Ellie at the park. Cody, get that cam working. You're like Mr. Pro Cam. You're like a good cam like mine. So a nice 4K unit, perhaps. Another piece of information. This is so random, but I was talking to a few people about it today. I'm going to echo it again. I saw this documentary. I think it's called A Life in Pink, and it is on Hulu, and it's about Machine Gun Kelly, the rapper turned pop punk artist. And what's interesting is it's a documentary kind of about his last 3 albums or so, And the fact that people just continue to treat him really poorly, he's like one of those guys that's hated for no particular reason. And his last rap album hit number one. He went over to pop punk and hit number one in that category. He made another second album in that category and hit number one again to show that it wasn't just a flash in the pan. And people still, it's almost 50-50 split on whether or not they think he's a good person or if he's a poser or a pretender or not exactly a good, musician or something. But I think, if you've hit 3 number ones across 2 different genres, doing something right. Plus everything that he's ever, kind of manifested in his life has to come true. He was a super huge Blink-182 fan growing up. And he thought, I wonder if I can meet those guys. And he meets and befriends Travis Barker. And in the process of doing so, he has Travis decide that they're going to produce the album. And so he got 2 number one albums working with Travis Barker. By the way, a little prayer goes out to him because he has found his way into the hospital. He's dealing with pancreatitis. And that's a super, super painful, yucky disease. And his daughter is asking us to all pray. But A Life in Pink, Machine Gun Kelly. So if you have a Hulu account, check it out. It's a very interesting documentary. And even if it's not necessarily your music, it's super interesting to see what's going on. Well, I see Tammy did show up. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm gonna pop you right in. Hey, Tammy, how are you?
Hey, Chris, I'm great. I'm terrified, actually.
I love terrifying. How do I pronounce your last name? Is it Nishuk?
Nischuk.
Nishuk.
Yeah.
You are a travel kind of pro. This is the travel weekend between Canada Day and the 4th of July. This is the one. What the heck? Should we even go somewhere? Should we stay home? I feel like we should stay home.
Oh my goodness, yes. I'm all for staying home on long weekends. I have so many friends who work in the medical industry, and they're like, staying home on a long weekend is a good thing. I don't need to be out there driving. But Chris, I know I used to like my handle on Twitter is Traveling Tea, right?
Right, and you've moved on. I know.
Oh yeah, like all of those good things. So what I really do right now is I'm helping people find their inner calm through doodling, which is kind of a fun thing to do.
Do you have a doodle handy? I want to see what you're talking about. By the way, I'm going to throw up a comment really quick because Annette, her other half, Bob, has been feeling so ill, and they did this while traveling internationally, which is the worst place ever to be ill. But now they're home safe. So I'm so glad to hear it, Annette. Welcome back home. Speaking of doodlers, though, Annette herself is a doodler. So that's why I figured, let's see if we get that right, friend. Welcome to Dynamically Speaking. So what makes doodling important to us? Why should we, we used to get in trouble for doodling.
Oh, totally. Right. You'd have these teachers who are like, why aren't you making eye contact with me? You should be paying attention. Mm-hmm. But what they've discovered through science is that doodling is really just a form of fidgeting, and it can help us emotionally regulate ourselves, especially if you suffer from a learning disability of some kind.
Interesting. Now, what makes for a good or a bad? Is there such thing as a good or a bad doodle?
There isn't. There isn't a good or bad doodle. Everybody thinks like to be an artist, you have to have a beret and live in Paris, or have to travel to Europe, but you don't. I think we can all embrace like the little A artist inside of us, because let's face it, it doesn't matter where you were born or where you were raised. We all started mark making as kids as a way to communicate.
And that's, not far off from like the Lascaux cave paintings, which said, hey, maybe this is how you hunt, and all these other kinds of earlier versions of art like that. And in a way, emoji take us back to that, except we don't actually use our doodling skills. We just pluck art from a keyboard somewhere. What's, the kinesthetic feeling of using our pen to do it, or our pencil or our crayon or our marker? What's that giving to us?
Oh, well, that tactile feedback that gives us an opportunity to be more mindful and in the present, right? And so when you're doodling, it's an opportunity to really just slow down and to pay attention to what's happening at that exact time. And it, like, I'm full of all of these random Cliff Clavin type facts, Chris.
I'm ready. Give me some.
So they did a study in 2009, I believe, and it's a well-quoted study about how they put a couple of people in a room and they said, listen to this really long, boring monologue. And they gave half of them circles to just shade in, and they did nothing to the other half. And then they tested their memory at the end. And the people who were simply shading in circles remembered up to 29% more of that really boring monologue.
Wow. I love that. And that, by the way, says, I really love the dynamically speaking. My doodles make me feel better every day. The artist inside really incubated during our pandemic times. And that started journaling with a lot of doodles as well. Do you think there's a place in day-to-day business life for doodling beyond, being on the 35th Zoom call of the day?
Absolutely. And it's an opportunity to reset our minds. So if you're having a particularly stressful day, take 5 minutes, shut everything else off, and engage in a mindful doodling practice. And you'll be surprised how much better you feel at the end. And that really just increases productivity for everyone.
Now, you said there's not exactly a right or a wrong way to doodle. Are there more productive ways to doodle? Like, is there a way that we can amp up the payload of what we get for doodling, or should I even think of it that way?
Well, I don't think there's not a right or a wrong style of doodling. Some people are into making lines and patterns, and that's great. Some people love to draw flowers, and that's great. But the right or wrong way to doodle is about how you doodle. So it's really about that mindfulness piece to it, is really taking the moment to tune into your environment, listen to what's going on, feel the tension in your body, and take a moment to let it go. And really just re-regulate yourself. Because again, the science is telling us that any form of doodling activates the reward centers in your brain. Imagine if your doctor could prescribe doodling. How awesome would that be?
I'm with you there. So I was thinking about when you started talking about doodling, one of the things I started thinking about right away was when people I'm doing something at the same time and failing at it. When people go to doodle, that whole sense of when people do doodle reports, do you know what I mean? When they do they're doing live capture of doodle, as a way to cover the report. So I was just thinking about a tiny bit of a clip that's in the new movie Thor: Love and Thunder coming out soon, July 17th from Marvel.
Times like this, we need to unite, come together. I'm sorry, Meek, it's very hard to give a rousing speech with noise.
Oh, God, we're going to die.
So it's right there in the mainstream. Little did we know.
That's fantastic, right? That graphic reporting or info doodling is a fantastic skill, and I admire people who can do that. Well, one day I aspire to get to that level, but I'm not there. I'm more a one-on-one, right? I'm really an introvert who was absolutely terrified drinking coffee in her bathrobe this morning when I saw your tweet. And you're like, come on down. It's amazing how fast you can get dressed.
You did it, Tammy. It was fine. Well, I mean, how fast does it take to tweet? Especially when you're wandering around after breakfast. So I really appreciate you coming on the show. I'm going to let you go. And thank you so much for being part of it and just jumping in like that. It was very brave.
Well, thank you very much, Chris, for giving me that opportunity, and doodle on.
Thank you. And I love bravery. Thanks, Tammy. It is so weird. I just realized while I was talking to her, I'm on like the wrong side of the screen, because I'm usually over here. Excuse me. Kate asked me the question, is that like a productive cough? No, you know what my cough is a month or two ago, I finally succumbed and got COVID. And now I'm like the rest of the population on the verge of a cough for the rest of my life until I am dead. So that's what it is. Kate, I've given you the live link about 76 times. I'm just going to show it to you one more time. Ready? cbrogan.net/join us. So there you go. cbrogan.net/join us. There you go. I shined that up like 70 or so times for you. So it's all you. Come and get me. You got me. So doodles are amazing. Doodle on. That is the cutest sign off ever. I agree. I loved it. So I think we're going to get the illustrious Kate Colgan on. Boy, do I have a couple of questions for her. That's for darn sure. Especially the way the world has been changing out there. And then Cody was also sending the link inside of YouTube. That's very nice. Very kind of you, Cody, Mr. Wooten, sir. Doodling is one of those things that I really swear is the nuttiest thing in the whole universe, because it does so much beneficial things for us. So Tammy says, feeling great about taking the risk. You guys are fantastic. Thanks, Chris. Yeah, what a good group to welcome her in and really handle that. So for sure I do, Elizabeth. Kate, I'm going to bring you on. Kate, let's start with Lily Bloom. Why are you Lily Bloom? Is this your new spirit name?
So Lily Bloom is my Eden Horn NFT. So part of the Eden Horn tribe. There's 4 tribes in the EdenHorn.world, and way back I collected 4 of them, but I gave 3 of them away because that's what Lily Bloom does. And I identify with Lily Bloom the most. The community actually named Lily Bloom. Lily Bloom is a Babamuda, a Babbumata. So that's who I identify with. And I've actually started I don't want to say a brand because I don't know where I'm going to go with it. Of course, I registered the name, etc. And oops, here we go. I just realized I have my Lily Bloom hat. That's my character.
Oh.
Right there.
And it's called Eden Born?
Eden Horn, EdenHorde.world.
Who?
.world.
World.
WORLD. Yeah.
All right.
And yeah. So
Baba Buddha. I see this now. The tribes. Okay.
Yeah.
Oru. Okay. Walk us through this because I know nothing of this and I'm already turned on by it. What do we got here?
Sure. So the artist Andy Rizzatoni, I think he was the founder of some kind of magical Venture Time.
Oh, okay.
You probably know that.
It looks like Adventure Time. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. But yeah, so the folks from Merit Circle, you probably heard of that. It's my good friend Marco's the CEO of Merit Circle, which is a gaming DAO, who they raised over $110 million in their round. But they're creating. They have 5 different sectors that they have, but the Eden Horn part, and I'm going to see if I can on Twitter get some people to join here, but maybe later. But yeah, so they created all the different characters, and there was a story that goes with it. There was actually 8 stories, the narrative arc. You'd find it absolutely amazing, Chris. So I've immersed myself in it. I enjoyed listening to. They released a chapter every 2 weeks, the narrative arc, and it has now ended. If you go up to the top, you can probably see that in the narrative arc, and they're going to
episodes.
Yeah, the episodes. So
which one are you in? Did you say or?
No, I'm not in any of them. The episodes are. This is the narrative arc and the story that Cynthia Blythe wrote. It was absolutely amazing. So I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but people can immerse and they can change, and you own all the IP, etc. So I know that being Lily Bloom, I said, okay, I'm going to take it. And I have many folks from the Tampa Bay DAO, which I'm part of, own these as well. And I know some of the people. I'm not the artist, but we're working on making a game. There's actually in the process right now of making a card game as well for this. So it's very, very very exciting. Yeah, and it'll be, we picture this. I'm saying we. Of course, I don't. All I do is be Lily Bloom. That's what I do, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
but
so let me stop you here. Let me ask you a few questions. I want to kind of like repackage some of what you've been saying, because you're speaking from so inside of this, because as always, you immersed yourself in it. You like went, I'm going 1,000% past the starting line. So there's this fictitious world, Edenhorn. Everybody gets Edenhorn. There's excuse me, characters that you can buy to interact with it, and possibly territories that you can buy to interact with it. There's things you can buy so far, yes.
yeah,
And then someone, this person whose name you said, made a story that kind of walks along through that, and then in this process, because you are an owner of this intellectual property, you have all the rights in the world to use your character to do any kind of creation you want inside of the Eden Horde system. True?
true, but also yeah, outside as well. So yeah, so of course I did buy Lily Bloom. Um, uh, lilybloom.world, et cetera. So yeah, I can do whatever I want with it. We can create, a sub, whatever they call that. I forget. My friends, I'll share later, but on my Twitter stream, when I was at Infracon in Dominican Republic, and my friends from the Dow, they were already going away, and they were already making the characters and splitting it and making characteristics and the cards, etc. So we can do whatever we want with it. It's our property, right? So
Right.
it's very, very important. And yeah, I mean, we're going to be putting together. When I say we're going to be putting together a comic book series as well. So different people do different things. So they're just like, I don't want to, like, to me, obviously there's bored apes, but there really aren't that many people. The thing I like about, Eden Horde and the characters is people get very personal, just like any NFT collection. There can be some speculators, but the people that end up with the characters and really fall in love, like in the Discord channel, there aren't a lot of people yet. Of course, some people are there, but people like myself, and will create the characters, kind of like a Pokemon type of world. They're
Right.
creating a card game, etc. So very exciting. I'll connect you with my friend. I can't dox him, but he goes by ZerXDX, and he's part of the team. He's the as he calls, like a head honcho, very modest guy. Yeah,
Nice.
et cetera.
So, but like, unlike Pokemon, that's your intellectual property now. Take
Yeah.
care, Annette. Take care. So that's your Lily right there on screen now, right? That's the one who ended up being your girl, or
Correct. Yeah. So Lily Bloom, she has magical flowers. I vision as I sit down with different people, and we might even have like a Lily Bloom separate, like, NFT. We might do a sub, type of a thing. But again, it's in the making. But really, Chris, what I really wanted to jump on here for, and thank
Yeah.
you for asking about Eden Horde and stuff, is you just happened to all just happened to pop on at the right time, and I really was excited. Is the fact that my good friend Tim, he needs a liver. So it's
Oh.
timsliver.com. I don't know if you know Tim, so liver donor needer. And I literally was just about to share when I got out of the shower, Marty has COVID, and I tested negative again. Yep. But we need publicity, and I actually was brainstorming about to share with Marty, but she'll be able to hear it now as I do. And I'm heading down to the Tampa Bay Down headquarters in St. Petersburg, and I'm going to present this to them. And it doesn't matter if I share it with you, because I don't care. What we need is exposure. So my brainstorming that I had actually yesterday is we're going to make a liver, Tim's liver NFT. And because as you read about this, so it's like, what's the immediate, what's the problem? The immediate focus is Tim needs a liver, a living donor. That's the most immediate thing to have happen. He needs publicity. Do you know Tim? I'm not sure.
I don't think I.
Yeah, Tim is very well known in the social media world, but not that means anything. You're not known in the social media world.
No.
anymore. Anyways, but he's a sweetheart. He's been fighting like heck, but it's time for action now to get him publicity, et cetera. So my idea is, again, it has nothing to do with Tampa Bay DAO or NFTs, but the issue is that he needs to, get this and get publicity out. So as I'm reading about it, and again, I'm going to leave it to the geniuses, the way smarter people than myself, when I go to the DAO to present it. And we're going to make an NFT of his liver. And the reason,
Kate, let me ask you this question: why an NFT? Why is this not just a GoFundMe?
Because here's the deal. Okay, and that's a good question. So the reason for it is the fact that GoFundMe's are all over the place. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure he already has a GoFundMe, but he doesn't need a GoFundMe because he needs a liver, right? So he needs a liver, and the reason for an NFT is that it's different, and B is the fact that as I was thinking about this, because I've spread it, and a lot of people have spread it far and wide so far. But here's at the second page, it says what to expect, right? You must stay in Rochester for about 2 weeks. Recovery. So it says travel expenses and lost wages are not covered. So here's my thought. My thought process is the fact that there's plenty of young, healthy men, strapping young men, the requirements that are met that are out there. That they might be in the NFT world, et cetera, from around the world. I don't care where they are. So the proceeds, and again, I'm going to run this by the geniuses at the DAO. The proceeds will go, the NFT drop will go to pay that person. So here I am, a strapping young man in Switzerland, right?
Yeah.
And I really would like to do this, but I kind of, A, I don't know about it, but B, even if I did know about it, I can't afford that. So I would wish Tim well, but I can't afford that stay. So we're going to take care of that. It's different, and we want to get publicity. So I'm literally heading to the DAO today. We're going to whip this up. We're going to make an NFT, and we're going to be able to get news coverage here in the Tampa Bay area. And my wish and my hope is that this will spread as an NFT project, an NFT of Tim's liver. So if there's an artist out there right now that might even want to join, I don't care. It doesn't have to be about whatever. It's about taking action, and let's get going because time is of the essence. Tim needs a liver now.
TimsLiver.com it is, Kate. Thank you so much for showing that, and thank you for sharing. It means so much that you came by to do so. And good luck down at the DAO. And we'll do what we can to share. I mean, we have all of us here, so we might as well all just tweet, "Hey, Tim needs a liver," with a URL to that. That would probably be
TimsLiver.com. Yep.
Right. Hey, thank you so much, Kate. Always great to talk with you. Hi to Marty. I hope you feel better soon. Paxlovid got me out of COVID faster, just so you know.
Just a quick question. She actually just got a prescription. I think that's probably what it's for, but from my understanding, it has to be the first 5 days, and she's on for like 8 now.
Oh, then maybe it won't work. Who knows? I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but it worked for me, and I did it day 1. But hopefully she feels better soon.
Thanks, Chris.
Love to both of you. Talk to you soon, Kate. Bye for now. TimsLiver.com. Go spend a couple seconds tweeting that if you don't mind while I drag on Elizabeth, who has a story to share today. How in the world did you manifest this whole thing? Tell people what happened to you.
Well, I've been wanting a boat for years. Can you hear me?
I know that, but I'm saying tell all the nice people.
Okay, I've been sailboat racing forever. It feels like, at least actively since 2016. And one of the ways, and as you grow as a sailor, obviously you got to learn how to drive a boat. And so I'm finally getting my first boat. I feel like a 16-year-old with their first car because it's that kind of boat. And I got it for $2. A boat for $1 and a trailer for $1. And it's basically, you got to think of it more like the Honda Civic that is so old that you might as well turn it into one of the Frankenstein cars with neon lights and bouncy things. But that's what I'm going to do with this one since it's there. And what happened really is it's a great family who's moving, and they're moving quickly to a new job out of state from Texas to Colorado. And they had to sell it quickly, and it had a broken mast, and it has had the broken mast for a while. So I am going to have to take it to somebody to get it fixed, but somewhere between $200 to $800 to get it fixed. And I can sell it for about $2,000 when I'm finally done. But I'm probably not.
to mess with. It costs you $1. It costs you $1 for the trailer to go with it. It's going to cost a few $100 to get the mast taken care of, and then I'm sure a little bit of spit and polish somewhere else, and a little bit of other stuff. But you're going to be on the water for, let's say, less than $1,000 when you're all done with that. A couple old, life vests underneath, and you'll be out there piloting yourself around. Is this a good enough size boat you can manage yourself as well as captain? Like, can you manhandle this thing around?
Yeah, it's a 17-foot boat. It's a 1978 Boston whaler. So your pixie dust made it to Texas. And so a Boston whaler Harpoon, 5.2 meter, 17 feet. It can carry up to, I would say, 4 small people. So me and 3 kids, or I would say me and 2 adults. And I can definitely use this for skills. And it's a centerboard boat, which means that there's no keel, but there's a dagger board that you pull up when you go downwind. So with our lake being so low, we're at 58% capacity of our aquifer right now.
Oh.
So yeah, the ramps are an actual issue. So I wouldn't want a bigger boat that had a long keel underneath. I want something I can basically beach launch. And yeah.
So you can poot around in that little boat, while all the other people who felt smart to have a 30-footer are like screwed for a while.
Yeah. If the lake keeps dropping the way it has been, 2 to 4 inches a day, our ramps will be closed in Austin, Texas for our aquifer ramps. And they'll probably lower some of our other lakes because we're in that much of a drought. But yeah, no, I don't need an actual outboard motor. I can actually use my thighs, believe it or not, to maneuver, because one of the tricks is you can put your weight and start using momentum by going and have your weight low, and you can actually fill in your sails with momentum and physics.
Wow. I've never known that. So
No,
thigh-powered sailboats.
It can be a thigh-powered sailboat. And yeah, it's just kind of this is where I can start to be a race driver. But I was talking about this because I have to bring this back so that Carrie won't get too, whatever, roll her eyes, because it is actually a female empowerment thing. Because I was talking about this with a friend of mine, and there's a running joke, and it's going to be offensive. So for all of those who I find it offensive, my apologies. But it's a real joke that's in the boating community. You have to have ass, grass, or cash to learn how to boat. And I'm now going to be able to empower other people who do not have these things to learn how to do this.
I know what you're saying. So you're breaking some ground there in a very sexist culture and community by being your own captain.
Yes, and by proving that you can develop the skills so you can keep racing in some of these bigger boats, that yeah. So I'm now going to be a point where later on in the year, I think we're going to be working with either a nonprofit or an orphanage and bringing out underprivileged kids to come learn how to sail, and I will have a boat to take 2 to 4 little kids out.
Wow. Well, then you can return 2 to 4, and it could just be some random number therein. And then every now and again, some new kid will learn about Wilson and what it is skills to live on an island. It'll be very important.
Something like that. But yeah, it's just like it's like, this is why I'm so happy and thrilled. It's like, and along the way, I can do some woodwork, aka putting in varnish, but fiberglass repair, rivet guns, it's out of my scope. But the thing is like, I'm excited, and I'll probably basically look at how much I put into cost and then either donate it to our junior program or be like the family who donated it to me, because they bought this boat actually for $500 at the start of COVID, before the mast was broken. So I want to pass this on as like a good learning boat for others. Like, once I feel like I can move on to a better racing boat, then as a driver. Yeah.
The good ship starter boat keeps out there in the water. Captain Quintanilla, thank you so much for joining us today. Wow, that's exciting news. And we look forward to a lot of driver pictures out there on the water. So you're going to have to get your camera crew on deck to take some shots from nearby boats and things.
I will do. I'll pass them on to you, so eventually we can do a screen share. So that way,
Perfect. We'll do a slideshow of all the boating captains see that's happening out there. Good to chat with you. Can say hi to Ellie. Talk to you soon. Bye for now. Ellie the Wonder Dog. See ya. Oh my gosh, a boat for $2. Boat and a trailer for $2. That's pretty damn impressive. I love it just because, she's wanted to be a captain. She started jumping in the races. She started just finding people that would take her on as crew. And as she learned more stuff, she learned more and more and more positions in the boat that she could be, which means she's a lot more effective and useful at all these different races, because sometimes people only have like one or two roles they know how to play. And second is, amongst all those big clunky men, she can maneuver around them all and has good balance and all that. So she has a good chance to really kind of fill in some of the gaps and what could go terribly wrong in the boating world. One thing I realized is I didn't do any of my ads. So I'm going to whip through the ads like I have been of late. It's not because I don't love the companies that sponsor us, but hey, want a podcast? Get one. Castos.com. You're going to love it. Want .online? Go to cbrogan.net/online. Get StreamYard. You can run your own show. Just like this. You can run it solo. For all these years, everyone thought Carrie was the wind beneath my wings. She is, but not because of running the show. cbrogan.net/StreamYard. Want a really cool search engine? Presearch still is the one. Presearch.com. Log in. You can start collecting cyber currencies just for using their platform. Thank you. Thank you for being there. Good to see you. I don't, let's see. Let's take a look. I want to do some things. Sure. Ready?
Oh, and here's our person of the day. Kaboom!
Even though she did not come on, and that makes me sad every time she doesn't, I'll give it to Chloe. Chloe, you're our person of the day. Thank you for keeping down the comment section. That was very important and a very necessary part of our job running for the day. Let's see. Other than that, something grandmother. That was lazy.